Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Native American Commission today, and I would like to say a prayer for us. Dear Creator, please help us make the best decisions for our people and our community. And so we can go ahead and have introductions. I see Heather. Can you introduce yourself? You can start.
Heather Taylor, Ihantoa Nation, Eastern Shoshone.
Okay, and Anna?
Hi, Anna Johnson, Turtle Mountain.
Okay, and then John?
John Strand, City Commission. Hi, everybody.
Rebecca? No, Rebecca? Okay, well, I am Lenore King, and I am from the Sistan Wahpeton Oyate. And thank you for everybody being here today. First of all, we can go ahead and start with public comment. And is there anybody signed up for that today? No public comments, so we will go ahead and skip to item 4. And the City of Fargo Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion position. Okay, so, and afterwards, we will approve a Native American Commission representative to sit on the position selection committee. So we can go ahead with the City of Fargo.
Good morning, Native American Commission members. We really appreciate your time. I should say, sorry, this afternoon. It's already noon. Thank you for your time to discuss this item with your commission, and most importantly, thank you also for your service on the Native American Commission. We really do appreciate it on behalf of the City of Fargo. So thank you for that. What we wanted to do today was just preview for you a draft position description that we've created for the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This is material that's included in your meeting packet. And what we're looking to do, both with the Native American Commission as well as the Human Relations Commission later this month, is just have some dialogue with your respective commissions, get any input or feedback that you might have about additions that we should make to the position description, and then also tell you a little bit about our timeline and what it is we're looking to do as we look to move forward with recruiting for the position, hiring the person, and placing the individual, hopefully in the role by late winter, early spring of 2021. And so I would just direct your attention to your meeting packet. We did a cover memo there, a cover memo from myself to the commission on November 23 that just provides a high-level summary of what it is we are looking to do with this new position. And I just also want to acknowledge the input that we've received both from Commissioner John Strand, who's on our call today, as well as Commissioner Arlette Preston and Mayor Mahoney, as we've worked on this position in the 2021 budget process and approval process. And so this is going to be in 2021 a full-time contract position, and it's something that we would like to start out at a contract level to try understand what types of initiatives and special activities this individual could contribute to, both internally within the organization as well as externally out in the community. And part of developing these initiatives, part of developing this relationship to the community as well as the organization, is developing close coordination and a relationship with the Native American Commission, the Planning Department, and the Human Relations Commission as well. And so this is going to be a position that we view as an additive position, a position of addition to those efforts that the Planning Department has already provided to both your commission as well as the Human Relations Commission. And we see it as adding resources in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so it will continue to supplement what many of the good things that our planning department staff have already done to support these efforts in our community and within our organization. And so what we've included after the memorandum there is just a very brief timeline. This is a tentative timeline of where we're at in the process today. And then where we intend to be in early January with posting the position and getting a really broad broad recruitment process put together where we're advertising in several publications and several websites nationally to try recruit the most candidates we can for this position, this exciting position and opportunity in Fargo. At the end of January, we are proposing to convene a selection committee, and this selection committee is going to have a really important role in that they're going to help us as staff as well as the city commission really review the number of applicants that we've received, look at their kind of credentials, their qualifications, and see what those fits might be, their organization, to see if we've got a candidate there that we think could really do a nice job in this new contract role. And so we're going to assess those candidates. We're going to interview those candidates in early February, and then have a time for some community input and some dialogue, not only with your commission, but again, with the Human Relations Commission as well as the city commissioners at that time. And so we are hoping, depending on the candidate's availability, that this is somebody we could potentially see in Fargo later in February, perhaps early March. So by next spring, I have somebody in place. And so we're really excited about the opportunity. We are also excited about your potential participation as a Native American Commission in this selection process. And you will see we have our job description there. If there are any questions about that, by all means, we're happy to answer those questions. Jill Manette, our HR director, and I are available to answer any questions about what's included. But one of the things we'd like to do is include the Native American Commission in the selection committee. And so we're asking your commission to appoint someone from your group to potentially serve on this committee when it gets together within that time window as outlined in your package. So just really, again, appreciate the conversation, the dialogue with your group today. We're happy to answer any questions and just really welcome your participation in this process. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we have a couple minutes for questions. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead. John? Okay, how about Anna? Heather?
I have a question. It's more just on clarification of what the title is. So I'm trying to pull it up and I can't get it up on my phone, but I feel like when I read the description, the very first language is that we're hiring a diversity and inclusion coordinator, but it was approved as community outreach coordinator or something. Can you just read me those first couple lines? I'm sorry, I can't pull it up in front of me, but that was
Sure.
one question I wanted to address.
No problem. Happy to. And yes, we initially, in earlier drafts of our 2021 budget, had contemplated that this position could potentially be called a community outreach coordinator. We since moved on from that title, and so that is not going to be used as in our recruitment materials. This will be the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. So it's a broader title. It's an elevated title, and one that actually brings it to a higher pay grade as well. So it is a director level position, and it's one that will be really on par with our other department leaders in, again, providing that support to the organization as well as to the community. So that reference to community outreach was a previous kind of placeholder title until we worked out a more firm job description, which we have now done. And so DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, is the title.
Okay, sounds good. I just wanted to make sure that that's actually what the promotion pieces were going to be, because that very much makes a difference.
Correct.
And I think one thing as you do, your outreach and your recruitment, I like that you're going to look at really diverse areas. I do have some suggestions. So whoever we nominate to be a representative for the search, would that be the person you want us to give that information to, or do you want us to send that directly to you? Because there's different organizations and small groups that have like Indigenous professionals that I just want to make sure sees this.
That's great. We'd be happy to take it now directly. And then if the commission was ready and in a position today to appoint someone to the selection committee, that's great. But if you wanted to contemplate that for a week or two, that's okay as well. But by all means, Jill and myself, we're both here. But if there are groups or organizations that you feel would be valuable that we should be advertising in or reaching out to for potential candidates, and just making people aware of the opportunity. We want to do that. And so by all means, please do let us know. We've identified several organizations, both nationally and regionally, that we think could be good places to get the word out, but we know it's not exhaustive. So thank you for that.
Yeah, the two suggestions I would have is connect with Cobell Scholars. So the Cobell Scholarship is a scholarship that funds Indigenous individuals going through school. Most of them receive masters or PhDs. And so they're very well educated, and a lot of them do work in areas of diversity and inclusion across this entire nation. And so there are, if you just Google Cobell Scholarships, they have a newsletter that goes out. They have job opportunities. Like I'm a scholar, so I get these emails all the time that show job opportunities from all over, and there's not really many people that I think place jobs like this there. The other location I would talk about is Native Roots Radio. They're actually housed out of St. Paul, but they reach thousands of people through Facebook, iTunes, and radio. So maybe just putting a little spot or some information to share on there. I just think that those will get us into some really unique populations that maybe other people wouldn't know, to advertise on. So those would be my suggestions. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate the work. I think the community really needs this. I just hope that often when we see jobs like this, they tend to be just kind of tokenized, like it's just checking the box saying, hey, our committee, our communities added this diversity equity officer. But what I really hope is that y'all listen to this person and really take the words and the advice that they share and actually find ways to implement some of them. The work that we do around this can be very exhausting and very emotional, and just always hit with these doors of, well, we've never done it that way. We don't want to, adventure into that change. So I love that we're doing it, but I just want to err on the fact that I hope that you take the suggestions that come out of this really seriously so that we can really grow to become more inclusive in our community.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback, and thanks for those organization tips. We'll definitely include that. I'll just highlight a couple off the top of my head too, other organizations that we're going to reach out. This is a bit of a different position in that, we recruit a lot regionally and of course locally, but we also want to go nationally with this position. And one other organization that we've added to our list for recruitment is the National Forum for Black Public Administrators, the International City County Management Association, the National Civic League, the National League of Cities, as well as others. The League of Minnesota Cities, which would also catch our Twin Cities communities. So we think that we're gonna try expand this search a bit more broadly so that we can get a good pool of applicants. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback.
Thank you, Michael. Whitney, we have Whitney. Do you have any questions?
I do, and maybe they're just more kind of observation. I think I have a couple concerns about the degree requirement, that a graduate degree is preferred. There's a minuscule amount of Native American people and African American people, Hispanic people that attain a graduate degree, going compared to Caucasian counterparts. And same thing with a bachelor's degree, like less than 10% of Native American people have even a bachelor's degree. But the experience and the ability to connect with people, that you would gain from even someone who was a person of color that has a bachelor's degree that only maybe has 6 months of experience would be light years beyond a Caucasian counterpart that has 40 years of experience. Because I just want that to be clear that there's ways that you live and what you experience that are things that are not easy to learn from a textbook or from time on the job, because it's something that is, I said, really difficult to learn in any other way. And this, from my perspective, what I see in this community is that historically people of color have reported to me many times, and I've been working as a nurse and now NP in the community for like 15 years, and people often report, I can't talk to those counselors as such and such because none of them are like, they had no difficulty in their life growing up, and they went to a fancy school, their parents went to fancy schools, and I feel like they aren't going to understand what I have to say. So that's going to be really important for that person to be able to get the work done, for sure, that needs to be done. And so just kind of keeping in mind, I know that on paper, stuff like those degree requirements and stuff, they look really good. But what we also know is that programs like peer support programs and stuff for people actually maybe don't even have a degree at all, have as good, if maybe not even better outcomes than programs where people have those higher degrees, because there's something unique, about that experience that you can't replicate from a textbook or in a classroom. And then last thing I'd like to say is, if she would accept, I would love to nominate Anna for the selection committee.
Okay, thanks, Whitney. And we'll get to the nominations. Let's see, we also have Sonia on the phone. Do you have any questions?
No, basically, Whitley and Heather both hit it right on the head with what I was wondering as well. But yeah, that's it for me.
Can I just add one thing, Chair? Just for statistics, what Whitney said. So just for statistics in our Indigenous population to highlight, so 36% of the white population hold a bachelor, only 13% of the Indigenous population holds a bachelor's degree. So we already know that there's a disparity there. So I just kind of wanted to give data to explain what Whitney was saying, to back up. And then only 7% of the Indigenous population holds a master's. And so, just by disparities and just by math, we're already a smaller population, and the African-American population is very similar in those numbers. And so I would take into consideration lived experience as an experience in this role. Thanks, Whitney, for bringing that up.
Okay, we have Rebecca also online. Do you have any questions, Rebecca? Okay, she might not be online. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay, here we go. Let's see, moving on. Can I get a nomination for someone to serve on the selection committee?
I'm nominating Anna Johnson.
Okay,
I'll second that. This is Heather.
okay, before a second is made, I will open the floor for discussion to see if we have any other nominations. If not, I'll ask for a second and then we can vote. Anyone else?
I will second that vote for Anna. This is
Okay,
Sonia.
okay, all right. And is there any discussion? If none, can I get a second for member Anna Johnson?
We do have a second.
Oh, we do, okay. Miranda, please call the roll.
Okay, so Fear,
Yes.
Donahue,
Yes.
Strand,
Yes, exclamation point.
Keeler,
Yes.
is Chelsea on the phone? No. Sharon?
No.
Okay. Knudsen?
No, she must
Nope.
not be.
Okay. And King?
Yes. Okay, motion carried. And then since we have, I'm going to go back to approving the agenda and minutes. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I get a
From
second?
last week.
Okay, thanks, Anna. Can I get a second?
This is Heather. I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carried. And can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. And here we're going to move to item 5, the Native American member vacancy. As you may know, we will have a vacancy on our board due to Heather Keeler stepping down as she takes on a new role as a newly elected Minnesota State Representative. Please see the vacancy advertisement in your packet and encourage people to apply by December 14th at thefargo.gov. And you can also find a post about it on our Native American Commission Facebook page. And Heather, did you want to say a few words as this is your last meeting?
Well, sure, because I always say a few words at every meeting. Why wouldn't I say some at my last meeting? I really just want to say Pilame, thank you to everybody. This has been a really fun journey for me. It's always fun to be at the table and kind of challenge people to grow. I think being able to step into roles like this really provided the courage for me to step up to run for state level roles. And so I just feel like it was really this huge preparation to make bigger changes, towards a more inclusive Minnesota, which is what I really am passionate about. I've enjoyed the opportunity to work in the community on our fun little picnics and our education programs and the partnerships that we've created. But more importantly, I've just developed some amazing relationships here. I think that when you can work alongside other Indigenous people and other strong allies, we make friends for life, and we'll continue to make movements and make changes. And I just really value all of you and the work that you do and the voices that you bring to the table. And to our community, I continue to be really proud of the work that we do collectively, and we need to continue to speak up and have a voice and stand for what we believe is right, even if we're just the voice of few. It really does make a difference, and our next generation does see what we're doing and they value the work that we do. So keep it up. I am sure I will see you all around, but thank you, Mpilame, for everything.
Thank you, Heather. Okay, we're going to move to item 5, and I'm going to ask Whitney, could you please provide an update on the Indigenous Association?
Yes, I will. So we are a full board now. So I had shared last time that Annie Lefiner-Ritchie had accepted one of our board positions, and then Dr. Holly Mackey accepted the other board position. So they've been officially welcomed onto the board. They've attended their first meeting, so that has been great for sure. We are just wrapping up. I know seems like we've been just wrapping up our proposed lease for a space for a while, but with COVID and all the challenges that has brought, it's been a little bit more of a complicated process when you can't, make a meeting for an afternoon to sit down with a landlord to kind of hammer details out. It's kind of mostly done by phone and email, which kind of drags things along. But the final lease agreement has been approved by the board, so we're just waiting to kind of put ink on paper with the location that we are looking at, which I think will be amazing. And then we would be holding some sort of virtual based open house to kind of unveil things. At this point, don't want a lot of people, of course, congregating in the same place, but so that is what Indigenous Association has been working on. We've set some strategic goals for the coming year, to one of them being to have a weekly programming offered to the community, and have that be consistently offered every week by the same employee of the program, which I think will be really great, and what might have to be kind of offered online, again for a while, but with the hopes that when we can go back to doing things safely in person and gathering in person, that we can do that, such to that particular format. And then also we're going to be looking at just grant opportunities and funding opportunities and help with sustainability. So again, I set a really super important goal the board has to make sure that we have paid employees and that we're not expecting community members to just volunteer and fly this program through their goodwill, because we know that goodwill is something that Indigenous people have an abundance of, but it does not pay our bills and it doesn't keep food on the table, and that's a lot to ask from our community.
Hey, Whitney.
members. Yeah.
Hey, sorry, not to interrupt, but do you guys have somebody that's like running it right now? Is it still Chelsea, or
Yes, it
have
is
you guys?
Chelsea. Yeah.
So are you guys going to be putting out for somebody else, or is she going to continue to be running it for the next while?
Yeah, so we're going to be meeting as a board because Tanya Rutter is also a part-time contracted employee, so we're going to be meeting with the board with both of those employees, and then our thought would be that we would be gauging interest to renew a contract, and then also putting out an announcement just to see if there is interest in that, in those positions, and if based on the feedback by Tanya and Chelsea, would it be best to roll them into one position instead of two part-time, that kind of thing, kind of see how things have been going. So kind of see best where the most efficient way to run the organization. Is it best with two part-time people, one full-time person, that kind of thing. So.
Okay, thanks, Whitney. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a good question. One thing one action item we did put out is that there was a program, after school program that was part of Youth Works that has been in Bismarck, that was told it was going to be losing its funding and that wouldn't exist anymore. So we did draft a letter to the legislature asking them to reconsider that action, because we know that it is so crucial to keep our youth in school, and those programs do keep our youth in school. There's an overabundance of evidence that they help and that they make a huge difference. And luckily, we have a great person in our chair position, Brandon Beatty, who is the supervisor for a program like that here in Fargo. So he drafted a very articulate letter for that, and we sent that off because we really do want to be as active as we can be in advocacy opportunities. And I had forgot to mention it last month, but last month we drafted a letter of support for a task force in Clay County that is working towards tightening up on some laws in regards to availability of vape, like flavored tobacco products. They can be sold in gas stations still, and evidence says that kids are able to get them at gas stations pretty easily, but if they're in a smoke shop where you have to be 21, show your ID at the door. And I know that the law says you can't buy tobacco products unless you're 21, but again, gas stations are far less monitored. You might have a buddy that's working, whatever, that kind of stuff happens. And we know that vaping is like very, very much the new tactic from tobacco companies to try to garnish some young smokers that will be lifetime smokers. So we did send that letter of support off to that task force in Clay County, which is being led by Clay County Public Health. So.
Thank you, Whitney. Does anybody have any more questions? Okay, we're looking forward to that. So, all right. And now we'll have the chair of each subcommittee provide a progress report of their work and present any action items recommended by their subcommittee. We will start with education and cultural awareness. Who is that? Was that Chelsea? Okay, we'll move forward to the housing. Anybody on that subcommittee have any information or new things? Okay,
I believe that's Sharon Lenore.
Sharon was housing. Okay, all right, and then we'll just move forward to health and wellness. Who's the chair?
Well, that's me. I sent out an email today to
Yes.
get the first meeting arranged, but they had said, I think last month, that because of all going on and just that the nature of the subcommittee involves partners that are so intensely involved in COVID efforts, like Cass County Public Health, and that it seemed like probably something that was going to be sort of an impossible time for them to meet with, because numbers were going way up last month even when we met. But I do have an exciting update of one of our partners, Fargo Cass Public Health, that has now opened the downtown COVID-19 quarantine site, and things are going very well there from what I have heard. If you go to the Facebook page for the Gladys Ray Shelter for Cass Public Health, you can see a video of the of the facility and get some more information about it. It looks pretty amazing. Some homemade quilts on every bed, which I think is really nice. TVs in the room so that people, of course, I mean, if you're in a room by yourself for 14 days, it's going to get a little daunting. So it's nice that there's some stuff for people to do to make that try and pass a little bit more. So that was something that exciting that our partner Fargo Cass Public Health had going on. So
Yeah, I seen that. That's pretty exciting. Like, is it also going to be like a drop-in center for some of the homeless people, like during the day? Or is it just for the COVID right now?
Yep. They're doing engagement stuff there too. So harm reduction, engagement, and the goal is for that to be, a place. We've known that we needed a drop-in center for a long time, and gives something for people to do. So yeah, they're have made some moves towards having a little bit more kind of programming type stuff and staff there and all of that, and making they've really went to work quickly on that building. They had to make a lot of changes in a short amount of time, but
oh my God,
got it done.
nobody knows how to tell Whitney how to.
Reminder to please put yourself on mute if you're not talking. Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move forward. All right, this is for any announcements. Does anybody have anything? George?
Yeah, Madam Chair, if I may have just a couple of seconds of your
Sure,
time.
yes.
So I would like to just make a few comments to the commission regarding a recent case that you may be aware of that's been in the media, the tragic death of Mika Carrillo, the 15-month-old girl that we tragically lost in our community recently. Your police department is going to work very, very hard on that case. It's a priority for us. We have some of our best detectives working that case. We're working with the family to bring justice to those that were involved in that case. It's so important that we take the time to do this correctly, to bring a solid case against that person or persons. And so some of the evidence that's being collected is scientific in nature, and that takes some time to get back. Unfortunately, it's not like CSI. It's not 45 minutes by the time the TV show wraps up. But we're going to work very hard to make sure that case is solved. Nothing's going to bring little Mika back, but we recognize that this is an important case for our community, and we're going to work hard to solve it. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Let's move on forward to item 9, and The November staff report is in this packet. Does anybody have any questions or items to be open for discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and move to item 10. The 2021 calendar is attached with meeting times. This is informal. No action is necessary unless anyone sees any problems with these meetings. Okay, does anybody have anything on those dates? Okay, looks like the next meeting is January 7th, 2021. And if no other questions, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.